Oh man, that went all over myself. It's boba book break time, where I take a break from reading, grab myself some boba, bing bing bing, and chat about whatever bookish things I want to talk about. Let's get it. Swirlin', 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 my bobas are a swirlin'. My boba of the day is taro milk tea. Tara tara taro. Look at me changing up my boba order. I'm a big boy now. Who would have thought? 2020, new me, new boba. Taro milk tea tastes to me like melted ice cream, and I'm not upset about that. It's delicious and yummy. Not Justin Bieber's kind of yummy, but it does kind of have that yummy, yummy in my tummy kind of vibe. It also kind of tastes like bananas. Good thing I like bananas. Bananas. My go-to boba drink is still green milk tea, but this is a close second. Next up, my boba pin of the day. Today's pin of the day is a boba pin that says positivity. Love a good pun. I don't know about you guys, but in this YA dystopian that we're currently living in, I feel like it's kind of hard to find anything that feels positive, and the things that do feel good, I am clinging to those things. For me, that's reading books, stocking up on books, talking about books, taking pictures of books, filming myself talking about books, writing my own book. Basically, anything to do with books is the only thing that's like really keeping me distracted from the craziness that's happening out there in the real world. Like, I just want to read books and avoid all that messiness that's happening out there. Take care of yourself, my dudes. The next segment is Books on My Radar, sponsored by Harpercollins. I got my hands on 2 different books recently and I wanted to share them with you because sharing is caring. They're both actually the upcoming Booksplosion books of the month. If you don't know what Booksplosion is, where have you been? Just kidding, it's okay if you don't know about it, but basically it's an online book club that I run with Christine from Pullin' Bananas Books and Kat from Catty-tastic. Each month we read a book together and then we hold a live show discussion over on the Booksplosion YouTube channel, which I will leave a link to down below in the description. First up here we've got Chain of Gold by Cassandra Clare, the newest book in the Shadowhunter Chronicles, which is currently like 100 books long. That's over-exaggerating, but I mean, at the same time, it's not that far off. Give it some time and it'll get there. Her books are slowly taking over my bookshelves. Not slowly, rapidly. I'm actually not caught up on her books. I still have Queen of Air and Darkness to read, Ghosts of the Shadow Market, and then this one, this newbie. I'm really excited about Chain of Gold because of the fact that it follows the children of the characters from the Infernal Devices. And let me just say that the Infernal Devices is the superior trilogy when it comes to the Shadowhunter Chronicles, the Shadowhunter universe. I know that that's not even a hot take, like that is a popular take, but regardless, it's top tier. Really came through and just did the dang thing. So I'm hoping that because this book is basically that trilogy's child, that it will be just as good as its parent book. It's got big shoes to fill, but I'm sure it will grow into its own thing. The Booksplosion live show for this will be happening on March 28th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so pick it up, read it, and join us. We'd love to have you. I've got my work cut out for me and catching up by then, so pray for me. Your boy needs a sit break. Next up, we've got The June Boys by Cort Stevens. This is our April book of the month, and Cort Stevens is the author of one of my all-time favorite books, and that is Faking Normal. That book just... my heart, my feels, all of it. Yes, I feel a lot of things even thinking about that book because, man, it was a journey. So to say I'm excited for this book is a bit of an understatement. I'm through the roof. I'm on top of the Empire State Building. I'm up in the clouds, over the moon. Basically, excitement levels for this book are high. This book is about this serial kidnapper who takes 3 boys every year from June 1st all the way to June 30th the next year and holds them hostage. And then they're just released back into the public. And the thing is, the kidnapper does no harm to the boys. They just go back into the public and live their lives as if nothing has happened. And the kidnapper has gone a decade with getting away with this. How in the heck are they getting away with this? Something smells fishy to me. What be going on here, fam? My intrigued tank is filling up. We follow Thea, I think that's how you say her name, it's Thea, who believes that her cousin is the kidnapper's 13th victim. While every time this happens, no harm is done to the boys, this time is different because one of the boys turns up dead. Well, hot dang, that escalated quickly. Thea is determined to do everything she can to hunt down her cousin and figure out who is behind all these kidnappings. And if she doesn't act now, it could be too late. Her cousin could be the next boy to turn up dead. This sounds mysterious and dark and like it will for sure deliver some spoops. Give me those chills, give me those nightmares, give me that fear-induced reading experience. I have signed myself right up for that. I love when authors kind of take a step in a different direction from what they normally write, and that's definitely what I feel like Cort Stevens is doing with this book, because while her other books do kind of deal with darker themes and whatnot, I feel like this is in a completely different dark direction, and I'm here for it. We love when authors evolve. We don't have a live show date set for this yet, but I will be tweeting and Instagramming about it once we have it solidified. So keep your eyes peeled. Next up, we've got the topic of the day. Today, I'm going to be talking about tropes, specifically YA book tropes. I'm going to be talking about the first books that I was exposed to with specific tropes, and my favorites involving those tropes. I feel like I'm not making any sense. It'll make sense in a second, I promise. Yes. Tropes are everywhere. You either hate them or you eat them right up. I'm not a hater. I don't mind them as long as they're done well. Sometimes they're undercooked, sometimes they're burnt up, and on rare occasions they're cooked just right. The first trope that I have is the outsider trope, where the main character is an outsider, is super different, doesn't have very many friends, that kind of situation. I'm pretty sure the first book that I read with this trope was The Perks of Being a Wallflower. We've got our main character Charlie, who is lonely, who is quite different. He's pretty unique. I feel like there has to be another character that I read before this one where they were kind of an outsider. Like Harry Potter was obviously a bit of an outsider, but I'm just gonna go with Charlie because I relate to Charlie on a spiritual level. I remember reading this and just being like, am I reading about myself right now? Because that's what it feels like. And I think it was executed really well. It didn't feel like it was one of those cases where Charlie was like, I'm not like anyone else. I relate to no one. Nobody talk to me because I'm too different. I'm a unique little butterfly that none of you will ever understand. It wasn't like that, thankfully, because I would have DNF'd it. Plus, we see him work on himself and try to become a better person and make more friends. Charlie's the best. I think my favorite book with the outsider protagonist trope is A List of Cages. The character Julian is a full-on outsider, and can I just say that he is a character that needs to be protected at all costs because the world does not deserve him. We did not even deserve to get the chance to read about him. I'm thankful that we got the chance to read about him, but hot dang, protect Julian. I'm talking as if he's a real person, but you know, he is in my heart. He's real in here. The thing about him being an outsider too is that it's because of things that he can't control. Like there are things that are happening at home that are immensely affecting him. What I like about how this trope is used in this book is that he ends up having a bunch of people surrounding him with love and encouraging him and being there for him, and they help him through the situation that he's going through. So solid, so underrated. Read it and weep because that's what I did. I need a sip break because I just got really passionate answering that one. This drink is giving me a sugar high. Like, hello, good morning to you. Next trope is dead parents. I'm pretty sure the first book that I read with this trope is The Bad Beginning. The first book in the series of Unfortunate Events series, which was kind of a dark situation to read about as a child. Oh, the Baudelaire's house caught on fire and the parents were burned alive. Hello, nightmares. I think when I was reading these books as a kid, I low-key convinced myself that all the characters were real, so I felt even more awful about the parents dying. Anyway, that's a story for another time. It's hard to say what my favorite book is with this trope because it's not like it's a fun trope to talk about. Yay, the parents are dead, let's celebrate. Like, no. I think maybe my favorite with this trope is Throne of Glass. And the reason for that being is I feel like it really affected our main character immensely because of how traumatizing the actual experience of finding her parents dead was. And like, it was pretty disturbing in the way that she found out about it. No spoilers, but yikes. I think there are a lot of aspects of Selena's character that you can kind of tie back to that event in her life and how defining of a moment that it was for her. Next up is the Chosen One Trope. The first Chosen One trope that I read was obviously The Boy Who Lived, none other than Harry Potter. What a solid Chosen One story to start out with. It's just an all-around great journey and it's super nostalgic looking back on it. Even if the author has kind of gone off their rocker, I still to this day think that this is a really solid Chosen One story. As for one of my favorite Chosen One stories, I don't know if this one really counts, but my channel, my rules, My Hero Academia. And hear me out here, our main character Deku is not necessarily like the chosen one for some big event, at least not where I'm at in the series, no spoilers please, but he is the chosen one in another aspect of the book, but like your boy can't tell you what aspect that is because spoilers, I don't want to ruin it for you, so I'm gonna halt my car and back it right up. But I stand Deku full force in this household. He's one of the most humble heroes in training and would do anything for anyone, including his own enemies. Talk about a character with lots of heart. How can you not stand? I need a sip break. The next trope that we have is love triangles, my least favorite trope. I believe my first love triangle that I ever read about was none other than the Hunger Games. When I first read this trilogy, I didn't think much of it because the whole time I was just like, she's obviously gonna end up with blankety blank. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. My coworker at the time majorly disagreed with me and we had many arguments about this, but like, who ended up being the winner? It was me. As for my favorite love triangle, which I don't have very many favorite love triangles because I think that they're overdone, and when they are done, they're not done in a unique way. I have to say the Infernal Devices trilogy. I mean, I know that this is a cliche answer, you've heard this before, but I can't help myself, it's got one of the best love triangles out there. There are still aspects of this love triangle that drive me nuts, that aggravate me to no end, but the end result is so satisfying. And I honestly feel like it was done in a way where everybody gets to have their cake and eat it too. And the last trope that I want to talk about is found family, my favorite trope, the best trope, the superior trope. I think the first book that I read this trope in was The Perks of Being a Wallflower. I mean, you could count several other books, like Harry Potter could be counted, a series of unfortunate events could kind of be be counted, but I'm just gonna go with perks. Charlie goes from being this lonely boy at school to having a family at school, and they help guide him through his high school life, which is something that he really needed. I remember reading that aspect in this book, how he had kind of found a family at school, and realizing how starving I'd been for books like this. And I had finally hit the spot with this one. I'm guessing y'all already know my favorite for this trope. Six of Crows by Lee Bardugo. When you've got a crew like this one together, how can it not be my favorite? Full of misfits and icons, I just can't help myself. I think why this one is such a standout is because the characters are fleshed out to a T. Lee took that character clay and completely molded them and shaped them into amazing characters through distinct personalities and backstories. So those were some tropes in the first books that I read with those tropes, along with my favorites with those tropes. Tropes. Let me know what yours are down below in the comments using the tropes that I used as well. Lastly today we've got books trending. In this segment I discuss random bookish things that I found on the internet. Today we've got a wholesome little story. It's short and sweet. This lady was going to drop off some books at the library drop-off, and instead of grabbing her books, she grabbed some crackers that were in her car and dropped them in the book drop-off. And then she dropped in a note after realizing what she'd done, saying that the crackers were safe to eat. And I don't know why I find this so funny, but it's just so funny to me because I feel like it's something that I would definitely do. Sometimes I just get really distracted, okay? If you've seen other of my videos, then you know this about me already. Maybe we should start leaving treats like this for librarians in the book drop-offs, because librarians deserve to be treated. But obviously make sure that it's something that couldn't get all over the books, because we must protect our book babies, and in that case, just take a treat inside to your librarian. That's all I've got for you guys today. I hope that you enjoyed this episode of Boba Book Break. Be sure to let me know down below in the comments using my tropes prompts what your first book was with that trope, and what your favorite book is with that trope. If you like this video, be sure to go and hit that like button. If you want to see more bookish content from me, be sure to go and hit subscribe or go and hit that bell icon, and you'll be notified every time I post new videos. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope your day is bright, that tomorrow is brighter. Keep reading what your heart desires, and I will see you soon with a new video. Bye. Oh, I think the first. Oh man.